Hello everyone, this is Lisa the Whimsical Gardener. Welcome to my channel. On today's video, I plan on going to the garden center. I need to get a couple of plants to refresh the containers at the front of my house. Come along with me where I show you some selections at the nursery as well as some tips and tricks that you can use when selecting plants. After that, we'll come back and we will pot them up and we'll follow the journey of those containers throughout the season. I would love if you can subscribe to this channel and like the video as well. Would love to also see some of your containers. So if you would kindly post some pictures in the comment section so we can all enjoy them together. So come along with me, let's go to the plant nursery. Before going to the garden center, I want to walk around so I can have an idea of what I'm looking for specifically so I don't get distracted. For those of you that are plant addicts, you know that if you don't go with a plan, you'll just buy everything. So the first thing is in the fall, I had these heucheras here and they worked for the container in fall because it was low light, the sun was lower at that point. But now that we're in summer, you'll notice that the leaves are burning. So now is a perfect time for me to transplant these to a more shady area, and I can bring it back into the pot, bring it back up front in the fall. Next thing is these poppies are on their way out, which I'm just waiting for the pots to dry, and then I can get seeds from these. And then I would need to put some other plants in there, so I'm gonna look and see what I have, what I can find at the garden center. Hello everyone, I'm here at my favorite nursery here. So let's see what we can find at the garden center. Let's head on over to the annual section and let's see what we can find. If you remember, I am looking for some annuals for the pots at the front of the house. There's some proven winter options. This might be a good option, but I think I already have that at the front of the house. I'm trying to do something a little bit different than what I already have. This could be an option for a little bit of height. This is Totally Tempted Vivid Violet. It's a Pupia. That might be an option. There's another option that I was thinking about. This is Blew My Mind Eubulbulus. I hope I'm saying that right. By Proven Winners. This happens to be, let's see here, 8, spacing is 8 inches to 12, and the height is 4 to 8 inches. So this might be an option. Let's keep that in mind. Something else I noticed is this might be a little bit of a whimsical option. So this is Laguna Sky Blue. It's a lobelia, and this is 6 to 12 inches. So this might be an option. I'm thinking it will go well with the purple fountain grass that I have, or we could do a purple option, a violet option. Here's the specs on it. So 6 to 12 inches high, spacing is 6 to 10 inches. That might be a good option. But this is interesting. I don't think I have much yellow in the yard. Sunbeanie. Interesting. Let's see the specs on this. 6 to 12 inches high. That could also be an option. So maybe something like, let's see what this looks like if we were to get. That could be an option. Very different than what I typically do, which I normally would do a pink or purple option, but So green and blue would be amazing. Let's see what the purple looks like. I love the purple as well. Another option that I was thinking about is some Super Bells. This could be a good option. Let's try that out too and see what that looks like. So let's grab one of these. Let's do a little bit of that. And let's grab a Super Bell. Let's see if they complement each other. Ooh, I'm loving how that looks with the purple fountain grass. But I just realized I also have some other things growing in the container, so this might be a little bit of overkill. Let's keep exploring. It's fan flower. So this is Stardiva Blue Scaevola. Let's see the specs on this. 8 to 14 inches tall. Let's see what this looks like. Oh, hello friend. I love this nursery because they have chickens. And they just walk around freely. Oh, I do love that. It's a student palette. I think I might do that instead of the Super Beater. So while I'm at the nursery, I want to talk a little bit about some things that I look at when I am choosing plants. So let's walk around and show you some things that I normally look at so you can avoid these and choose plants that will do better in your garden. So for example, if I'm going to be choosing this plant, which is a Violet King lobelia. So looking at this particular one, I would be less inclined to choose it. Notice how it's starting to yellow and it's a little bit sparse, as opposed to another one that might be a little bit more healthier looking. Let's look at these fan flowers. So notice like this particular one, I would not choose it. There's a lot of broken stems that are dead. So what I would do is look at the other selections and go from there. This one's a little bit more healthier looking. Notice that this one here is not has not produced much blooms yet because it's earlier in the stage. So I would be more inclined to choose this one so I could grow in my garden, as opposed to one that might be a little bit more leggier like this one here. So I would choose one that is not that leggy. Another thing I would look at is this one here, for example. Notice how it's sparse, leggy, as opposed to its counterpart that are full and more bushier. So I would be more inclined to choose that one. Alright everyone, I changed my mind on my selection for the container. So I switched out the purple fan flower for a pink. I think that looks much better. So you've got some yellow, pink, and blue. I love their shade plant collection. So let's take a closer look at what they have in stock. So these are some geraniums. Got this one this year for my garden, and I'm going to try to bring it into the greenhouse to overwinter it. In our zone, geraniums are not hardy. Love these caladiums. And my favorite foliage, Coleus. Oh, what is this? Let's see. Color Blaze ridiculous. Coleus. Let's see. Tall, 6 to 24 to 40 inches tall. Interesting. This is Color Blaze Golden Dreams. On the lookout for a Wicked Witch. This hair color is just amazing. And you get some sweet potato vines here. Walking by the shrub lot, something caught my eye, so let's go over and take a look at it. Look at the flower on this hibiscus. I've never seen this before. What is this? Let's see. Starblast Chevron Rose of Sharon. Is this hardy to our zone? Let's see. 6+ hours. Zone 5 to 9. Ah, interesting. This may have to come home with me. Not sure exactly where I'm gonna put it, but quite beautiful. There's something else that caught my eye. This is a variegated hibiscus. Look at the leaves. Never seen that before. Let's see what it is. It's a Summer Carnival Rose Mallow. Let's see the specs on it. Interesting. Okay, light zone 4 to 9. Okay, bloom midsummer to early fall. Okay, looks like 4 to 5 feet tall. Interesting. So this nursery, typically in the late summer or early fall, they will have perennials on sale 50% off. So this is where I typically come and get most of my perennials. Nice thing is I live very close to this nursery, so I'm here practically once a week or so. My little happy place. So I'll be able to see when they have these plants on sale. Looking at my bargain rack for perennials, so let's go through some of these items. So you see here we have a lupin, and now you would look at this and be like, why would I get this? But in this case, I would get this lupin, and the reason for that is, yes, you're not going to get any blooms this year, but this is a perennial. So you planted this year, and next year you should have a bloom. Lupins are really hard to grow in our zone, so this is a pretty good deal getting it 50% off. Here is another one. So again, you're not going to get any flowers this year, but you will next year. On these salvias, you may think, oh, this does not look so good, but I would get this, and the reason is I would cut it, and it's going to flush back in about a month or so, and you'll get a second flush of blooms. Another tip when selecting plants is, especially perennials, is when you're looking at the plant, look to see if there's multiple stems. So like this example, this is a Joe Pye weed. If I were selecting this, I would choose this one, and the reason is, if you notice, there's a group of plants here and a group of plants here, so I could technically take this out of the can, cut it through the middle, and now I have 2 plants. So I actually got this a couple weeks ago, and that's what I did. And in my situation, I was able to get from 1 plant I got 3. Alright everyone, so this is my haul for today. So I've got my trio of annuals for the container, and I'm going home with this beautiful Rose of Sharon. Again, not sure where I'm going to put it. This is Starblast Chiffon Rose of Sharon. So next time I'll see you would be me putting these plants together in the container. So this is the day after the visit to the garden center, and I want to focus on finishing up planting the pots. So I have to work on this one over here, this main pot. So Originally thought I would do just this one pot, but realized that the poppies are the end of it, so I'm going to go ahead and work on that today, which means I have to sadly pull the poppies out. They're done blooming. I usually like to save have the seeds dry so I can have some free poppy seeds, but this year I'm a little bit impatient, so I'm going to go ahead and pull them out, and I'm going to leave them in the house to dry, so we'll experiment with that. I also need to do the corresponding pot, which these poppies are done blooming, and so I'm going to pull those out. These are still in the process, so this section will sort of look half done for right now, but I'm going to leave the poppies in this pot and in that pot to finish up blooming, and then I'll plant those up. Not sure if I have enough plants to fill 4 of the pots, so we'll see. If not, we'll go shopping around the garden and see what we can find. I do that quite often, just move things from one area to the other. I have my supplies here with me, some gardening gloves, I've got some potting soil, here are all of my plants, and of course the watering can to water the plants after I'm done. So let me set the camera up and I'll show you what I normally do to refresh these containers. So the first thing I'm going to do is focus on removing this heuchera, and I'm going to plant this out in the landscape. I've also got I think this is a carnation. I'm going to go ahead and remove that as well and plant it to a different area in the yard, and then I could also bring it back up in the fall when I'm ready to plant those containers. I need to also pull the poppies, so I think let's start first with pulling the poppies. I will insert a picture in here. They looked glorious 2 weeks ago, so I'll go ahead and pop in a picture so you can see what they look like. So let's go ahead and remove the poppies. So I'm just simply pulling them out. Trying to keep as much dirt in the container as I can. And these, what I'm going to do is hang them upside down like this in the house, and hopefully they'll dry. We'll see if they actually do, and then I should have some seeds here. Okay, so the next thing that I want to do is pop these out. So for that, I'm going to use my Hori Hori knife. And I'm gently just going to cut around the roots. So the Hori Hori knife, just to show you, has a smooth edge here, and there's a serrated edge as well. Alright, there you go. So I've cut out as much of the root ball in it, so this shouldn't have much shock to the plant, and then again we'll plant it in the shade somewhere in the yard. Going ahead and I'm going to remove the carnations for now. These for me come back every year. think that should be good. So the next thing I usually do is all of my containers, I usually put a fertilizer in it. So in this case, I'm using some Garden Tone. This is my go-to fertilizer. How much you put in here, I usually don't measure, I just do a handful. This is an organic fertilizer, so it's not going to hurt the plant. So I've went ahead, I believe this is called a Plectranthus. I believe, I might be wrong on that. And this typically would vine down. So what I'm going to do is, looking at how this is, I would like to keep this here because I want this to kind of trail over the edges here. And I'm thinking that I would put something here and maybe something here. So that's my thoughts on that. This particular plant, I have a what is this called again? Angelonia here. So I'm going to keep that there. Let's go ahead and start placing our items and just see how everything looks. Oh, I'm loving this. So you have to picture it a little bit. You got a purple fountain grass coming up here. The yellow on the back side, a little bit of variegated green and white here, and then the blue. Let me bring you a little bit closer in so you can see it. So first of all, imagine that the poppies aren't there anymore. I can't bring myself to pull them out right now, but as you can see, the purple fountain grass, a little bit of yellow with the blue, and it's more of an airy, so it will just trail down with the, again, I believe that's Plectranthus is what it's called, and that would bush out and fill this whole corner here. In this container here, you'll see I've already planted it up. There is a pink fan flower, a zinnia, and a pink angelonia. So once these poppies are done blooming, I'll go ahead and pull that out. I'm gonna bring you in a little bit closer as I plant these up, just so you can see the height of what I do when I put it into the pot. And then it's a little bit more details on that. So let's go ahead and pot these up first, and then we'll figure out what I want to put in this pot here. So this particular plant is called a Sunbeanie. Just beautiful. So there you go. Now this particular plant, I don't have to rough the edge up on it, just because it's not root bound. This one here is a Laguna Sky Blue, which this is my first time planting this, so I'm not sure how it will do. So we'll see. Now this one here looks to be a little bit root bound. I wouldn't say too much, so I'm going to go ahead and break the roots up on here. Don't worry, you're not going to hurt the plant, so just rough it up like this. And then I'm just going to take a hole right here and plant that in. And then I'm going to push the soil up against it. Like so. So have to imagine a little bit tall here with the purple fountain grass, a little bit more of a filler here, and you've got a spiller, which technically I have two, but this one does have a little bit of a height there. Loving how that's looking. I've never done that combination before, so hopefully it would look good in the future. So I've shopped the yard, and what I came up with is I have an agapanthus here, which gives it a little bit of a different texture, and I think this would look really good with the fan flower. So I think what I'm gonna do is put the fan flower over here, the agapanthus here. I'll keep the angelonia in the back, and that way when this fills in, which again I'm still blanking on the name, this is one of my favorite flowers, blanking on the name. When that fills in, you'll see a really nice grouping here. So let me go ahead and plant this. And again, these may look a little bit small now, but give it a couple of weeks and it'll fill in really nicely. So let's go ahead and get these planted. Now this agapanthus, I actually had one, and over the spring I divided up and I split it. So this is my first year trying to split this, so not too bad for all of the roots. So this was a tiny plant when I split it initially, so it's looking really great. So I'm just gonna dig a hole right here, plant it down, and I'm gonna backfill with some dirt over here. I am gonna go ahead and pull this up a little bit higher and backfill from there. Now this particular plant, you'll notice that when I'm planting it, I'm not planting it straight up like this. I actually tilt it a little bit like this because I want it to hang down a little bit. So that is an option that you could use. So typically you would do it like this. Notice how it looks different compared to if you do it like this. You can see it a little bit forward. So I'm tilting this one before I plant it, and then I'm going to go ahead and backfill from there. And by backfill, I mean topping it off with some additional soil. So I think for right now, this area I think is done for right now. I'm gonna go ahead and plant up the other container off camera, but you get the gist of typically what I do in here. So over this summer, we'll follow the journey of these plants and we'll see how it all looks. I'm gonna turn the camera around so you can have a look as of right now. But keep in mind the poppies will not be here, and I've got a petunia here, and this is already planted out, but couldn't bring myself to pull the poppies as of right now. I do have a raspberry ripple, I believe, dwarf zinnia that's growing here. I do need to water the pot. It looks like it needs some water, so I'm not sure about you, but I really have an issue of planting too much and cramping the pots and making them too full, but that's what I like and that's what I enjoy, and I'm sure there's many of us like that out there. I do want to pop back in for one quick sec and show you, here's my mess. So gardening can be a little bit messy, so I have to transplant this as well as the carnation, clean up all my mess, maybe use the blower and blow all the dirt away. But this is my container as of right now, and we'll follow it through the summer journey. Popping in back here, it's been about a week since I've filmed these pots, and I wanted to show you what the finished look looks like. Now I still have poppies over on this side, which again I can't bring myself to pull them out. They look so beautiful, but this is what this finished pot looks like. The fan flowers are looking amazing. I did had a caladium that I moved from that pot over there to here. But this is my favorite pot. I just love the combination of the blue with the yellow. Normally I'm not a yellow fan, but I could not help myself how beautiful this would look. I can't wait for the grass to give some plumes, and it would look really great. Let me see if I can do it shot from this end. How amazing is that pot? And you have to imagine poppies not being here and something else trailing down in the bottom here. But one last look at the poppies. Hope you had fun visiting the nursery with me and potting up my plants. Hope you also learned some things about what to look for when you are at the garden center. Again, I would love if you could subscribe and like to this channel and like the video, and please post any pictures in the comments. Would love to see your containers. Until the next time, happy gardening.